This episode is supported by Highnote. Highnote is an audio sharing platform that brings your tracks, their versions, and people all into one secure place. Manage all of your audio revisions, upload and compare them seamlessly with their versioning feature. Plus, bring your conversations out of text messages and email and all into one central place with project-based chat and timestamp comments. We've been working with Highnote for a while now, but they just pushed out some major updates with the brand new mobile app available in beta right now. You can sign up for free today. HMD viewers can get an extended 30-day free trial of their Pro tier plus 25% off annual plans should you like what you see. I'll leave a link in the description below. This episode is sponsored by Cradle Audio and Jason Joshua's Orion plugin, the ultimate tool for giving your drums power, punch, and weight in seconds. Orion is specially crafted for the drum bus, blending saturation, compression, and harmonic tools to bring out the best in your sound. Its complex parallel routing makes it easy to add the perfect depth and character to your drums. No need for multiple plugins. Orion's low latency keeps your performance sharp while letting you fine-tune the lift and harmonic EQ to bring your drums to life. Try it out and feel the difference. Shout out to Cradle Audio, and I'll also leave a link in the description below. Now, on to your episode.
Dude, tall. I'm like,
are you joking with me right now, bro?
On. It's like, huh?
Are you joking with me? All right, are we going?
Oh yeah, we're going.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, yeah, we're going.
He 3 points.
I grew up playing zero sports.
Oh,
no
wow.
sports at all.
Okay.
I was a music kid, so I did
Right.
viola
Wow.
all throughout school.
Right.
Sang in church, a cappella in college, blah blah blah. So
Nice.
I didn't do any sports.
was
My brother
music.
said that I was a waste of 6 feet.
Yo, so being
Ain't
my
that
height,
fucking crazy, bro?
it's crazy. Bro.
Isn't that crazy? Also,
Nuts.
are there words that I cannot use on the show?
No.
No, you can go
Alright,
crazy.
can I say-
Yeah,
alright.
yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So, but I say all that to say, grown ass man, I can't play basketball.
Wow.
Right.
Only the past couple years I've been like, all right, you know what?
Let me.
Yeah.
I'm about to learn how to play.
Let's tap in.
basketball.
Yeah.
Like, grown ass,
Yeah.
like pulling up
Yeah,
to the
man.
fucking court in Brooklyn somewhere.
Right.
I don't know how to dribble.
Right.
But we about to learn today type
Right.
shit.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, that's what it was.
Let me tell you who you are. You're the guy that walks into the park, right? And I'm like, oh, I definitely got
figure it,
him.
yeah. Oh,
And
my-
you like, bro, I'm
Nah,
telling you,
he's
bro.
like,
it's
Yo,
not what
bro.
you think.
And the amount of times that happens, like I walk on and I'm like, oh, I want big man, I'm in my head, I'm like,
You like,
oh,
bro,
you really don't?
Not the guy.
You don't? But
Oh,
you
man.
gotta,
I like that.
just,
You figure it out.
you know what I'm
Before we
saying?
get
You
too
just gotta
deep
like
into-
pull up.
Yeah.
Before we
so-
get too
Go
deep.
ahead. Go ahead.
Welcome to the Courtney Taylor Presents the My Audio Nerds podcast.
Yo, backstory. Okay, cool. So we seen y'all comments, and we realized, yo, you're absolutely right. This is Courtney's
Courtney's
show,
show.
and we're just his supporting cast. I am Kelly Rowland. You are Michelle,
Whoa.
and that is Beyonce.
I'm Kelly.
Whoa.
First of all,
No, I saw what I did to you.
I'm Kelly.
So-
Let's fix
That-
that.
Yes, there's a little bit of a.
Just drink some water.
Yeah, drink some
Yeah.
water, bro. Because
That was
he
crazy.
has a hive, and his hive goes crazy, bro. Goes
No
crazy.
matter what he do, bro.
No matter what he do.
You got a hive, bro?
Yeah, bro.
They sent me a screenshot last night. Literally, people just saying like, Courtney like just dropping gems for the kiddies like every week. These other two guys, like his guests, they did their
Bro.
thing too though.
Violated us.
You got barbs, bro.
Bro.
What?
He seriously does.
Thank y'all, though.
But
Thank y'all, though.
anyway,
That's fire.
yeah, let me introduce this podcast. What's up, y'all? What's going on? It's the boy Devvon Terrell. Welcome to the Audio Nerds podcast, podcast for audio nerds like yourself. Please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Remember, one lucky person in the comment section is going to get that VIP Gold Edition Rosetta EQ or compressor.
Yep.
Just make sure you leave your @name for Instagram so we can DM you and say, yo, you won. Also, shout out to our paid members. Just let you know, our paid members already saw this episode, and you can become one right now. If you look at this video that we're recording on YouTube, there's a join button. Click that. I'll leave a link in the description below as well. We got a bunch of content. You get money in our store. You get so many things. Our members also get the live streams with us.
Priority on the live.
Priority facts on the diamond side of our membership, and they get live streams where you get to come on a Zoom and have private feedback and things of that nature. So it's
Merchandise.
really awesome. Merchandise, got you.
Audio Nerds 1 kicks coming out soon.
Audio Nerd
Oh.
ones. That'd be
You know,
hard.
you can get some fly sweaters.
Comfortable for the crib.
Right. So, long story short.
What's your name, man?
Yo, my name is Devvon, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I totally
Yeah,
forgot.
you keep forgetting to do this.
I totally forgot what
What
the
DAW
vibe.
you use?
Yo, I use Pro Tools, bro. Respectfully. I spoke to
unfortunate.
Gaurav too today.
Chagara.
This is part of another like side little thing we're trying to do. Every day that he forgets, we start converting him until he's out of Pro Tools. He's another
A
ball.
little bit, just
I've
a little
never
bit.
He's one day gonna just
When's
wake
your
up.
bill hit this month?
I can't talk about it.
Oh,
For a bunch of reasons.
Sound like he got
Why are y'all trying to
yearly.
get him on Pro Tools?
He's starting to forget it anyway. You know,
That's cat.
He's starting to forget anyway.
That's cap. I love Pro Tools so much. I'm
Me and
staying
this
there.
guy, we rep our doors like we be waiting to introduce ourselves.
Well, what's your name?
You sure you love? My name is LJ. I'm a pro. Whoa.
You're a Pro Tools user? Let's go.
Crazy. Listen.
Clip.
My name is LJ.
What's
I'm a
happening?
professional FL Studio.
Yeah.
Professional.
Yeah, just save it.
Professional.
He's fighting it. Don't fight it,
FL
bro.
Studio. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of FL Studio Team 21 versus 24, but that's another episode.
Okay, I'm interested.
Another episode.
I don't know what you mean by that.
And you
What
already
about
know.
you, man?
Yeah,
It's Courtney T, 12, man.
right.
The host,
I'm happy
the
to
man,
be
the
here.
myth, the legend.
That's right.
I wouldn't even say all that. I'm
We're
just
here
happy
'cause
to
of
be
you,
here.
bro.
That-
I'm
for
just
real.
happy to be here, man. At the end
It's
of
the
the day.
$700 doll. Nah, I feel
But
you.
you know why I'm really, really happy to be here?
Why?
Because every time that was fire. Every time we're in this room,
That's right.
they already know what's going on.
That's
And
right.
today we have an amazing, an illustrious guest that I'm excited for us to talk to.
That's a fact. We got someone that is a really big friend of the show, someone that we
Huge.
support and also supports us as well. A lot of the things, and I want to preface it with this, a lot of the things that we've been able to do with the podcast and stuff like that has been because this CEO and founder really sees our vision as well as us seeing his vision as
Absolutely.
well. He's doing something that is going to and is helping all of us in the music space, and it's just somebody I wanted to talk to for a hot minute. Just not even about the product and stuff like that, obviously, but nonetheless, just from a business acumen, from just where he sees the company and stuff like that, filling that space that is missing in the audio industry and things of that nature, and just someone on the business side that I just been wanting to talk to.
In the words of Suge Knight. Remember Suge Knight Social Wars on my hip hop head?
This is gonna be
And
bad.
when he killed, he was like, man, you don't want your owner up in the videos, all of that. You ever sign in a Dropbox? Files go missing. Files start tripping. The lossless audio
Files
is
start
mad
tripping.
lost.
It's mad lost.
It's mad lost. Dropbox. Can I tell a story? Because I was at your house when it happened. When I lost my entire computer because of Dropbox.
Oh my God, that was crazy. All right, let me introduce him.
Introduce him.
And then we can go to that story.
Yo.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have Jordan Bradley, the CEO and founder of Highnote. Clap it up one time. What's up, son?
Yo, glad to be
Jordan.
here, y'all.
What's up, man? So I know people see us all the time, like just like doing stuff together and things of that nature. One thing, obviously, you are a musician.
Yes.
And I always ask people, the first question I always ask them is, what was your DAW journey? So, what was the first DAW you started in, and what is the DAW that you ended up in right now?
All right, I'm gonna answer it backwards.
Okay.
So my DAW of choice right now is the voice memos app on my iPhone.
The voice memo
Ooh,
app.
yeah.
Wow, that is the hottest
dog
take I've ever heard. I'm here for it. What is that about?
Because that's where I make shit. That's where I'm walking around in my day-to-day life. Hook
That makes
Yes.
sense.
idea.
Yep.
Like that's where it works for me.
Have you had
And
the
I-
new? Oh my fault.
No, go ahead.
Have you had the new update?
I might.
What is
the new
this?
update? You get to stack vocals.
No,
You lying?
You get the multi-track? You get
Because
multi-track
I've been
recording?
waiting in the voice memos
Yes,
app?
Yeah.
and you could play it from the speaker and it won't loop back in.
We talking about the iOS voice memos app got stacking
yeah,
now?
new iOS 18.
I'm about to
update.
go crazy.
Why he's about to go crazy? Look at
I'm
that
about to go
dog.
Yeah, and
crazy
they
in
made
that.
it specifically for musicians.
Of
Like at
course.
the keynote, they were like, "Yeah, we know a lot of musicians use the voice memos app, so now you
And-
can stack ideas on top of each other."
Yeah.
And I said that on purpose because y'all went crazy on your DAWs. And I think one thing that we're kind of keen on and that we see is that the journey of a song doesn't always start with the DAW.
Right.
Rarely does it start with the DAW. Like you have a piece of inspiration. Where do you go immediately? You're going to your voice memos. You're jotting something down in the notes app.
Right.
And so in my day to day, that's what I'm using to
The
just
most.
to
Right.
just yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And early on, was there any other
Yo,
DAWs that you were
early
using?
on,
Right.
early on, like when I
Early.
first discovered music, it was Audacity all day, bro.
Come on,
Oh,
man.
I had
one of those.
It was in our basement in West Philly. I had some mic. I strung it from a pipe in the ceiling so
Yep.
that it just was just hanging from the ceiling because
Right.
you got that little vibe. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, we about to go crazy. I remember my parents bought us this Dell that could burn CDs
Oh yeah.
for the first time, and I was like so fucking happy
Yeah.
that this machine could burn CDs.
Yeah.
And when we first got that computer, I was like, yo, my career is locked.
It's a
Okay, yeah.
wrap.
I'm going up from here.
So
He
me
said
and,
it's
so him
all
and
up
I
from
can
here.
tell
I
we
feel
probably
you.
around the same age because CD. I remember spending bread on CD, blank CDs,
Bro,
Yeah.
OD, and I know you ran into the thing where we had to learn the difference between CDR negative and positive.
Yo.
You remember that?
Yeah,
Like,
and CDRW.
or rewrite, yes,
Bro.
rewritable.
I'm not gonna
Bro.
lie. When my pops, because he had like all the different ones,
Okay.
and when I stumbled upon RWs, I
Yes.
was like,
What the fuck?
"What's the W for?"
this?
It was like, "Oh, rewritable." I was like, "Wait,
Yeah.
what?"
Yo,
Yeah.
Levins, imagine.
A whole new
You
game.
got a CD, you burn it, guess what you could do? Rewrite it.
Burn it again.
Burn it again. Levins, game changer.
Bro, I thought we could burn CDs and now we can sell them. Like immediately, like
Yes.
when that computer landed on our doorstep, I was the happiest kid in the world.
Yeah.
I never left that basement.
Yeah,
I hear
bro.
you.
Cause it was that you gotta understand. It was like the Master P's, the Ludacris's that we heard about.
course, yeah.
That was like, yo, they selling their
DIY,
CDs out the
yeah.
trunk. So
Right.
we would have to go to a duplication company to go get CDs and stuff like that pressed. But once,
that time, yeah.
bro, my uncle had like the multi. You was wilding when you had the multi CD writer where it's like you put a bunch of blanks in, go to your Roxio Easy CD creator on it, and
Oh
just
my
burn.
None about that.
So everybody, yeah, who you see, he just separated y'all.
Yeah, that might be the cutoff.
He's like that.
Because
Right there.
he said when you had to go to the mainframe.
Yes.
Instead of like I ain't
Yeah,
I'd have been
yeah.
like
And
whoa.
shout out to all my fellow under 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, how much
under
does that
20s.
how much does that date us?
Ooh, that was
Heavily.
early
What?
2000s.
Yeah.
Early,
Immediately, I know
late
you're
90s.
over 29.
Gotta be.
If you're talking
That's
about CDRs.
crazy.
Yeah, if we talk about
That's
CDRs and
crazy.
stuff, you got to be 30 plus.
I also want
That's
to
crazy.
I also
I
want to
hear
put
you.
into perspective that his dog choice now is voice memos,
Right,
and his dog choice then was Audacity.
right.
Which one's the better dog?
The voice memo.
Voice
part.
memo.
The voice memos.
Which-
Yeah, voice
Crazy.
memos slaps Audacity.
Which is
Yeah.
insane.
Didn't you tell me Audacity just got like VSC support?
Oh, Audacity 3.0 is out, y'all.
But I've never really been in the DAW. I'm always like I like writing. Like
Okay.
I've never been in the DAW.
Got
Like I've
you.
worked with the producer who's in the DAW.
Right.
But like I'm writing, I'm at the keyboard, I'm sketching out a chord
Got you.
progression,
Uh-huh.
writing out some lyrics, putting
Right.
together like a concept,
Right.
and then we kind of take it from there.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
So, one question I have for you, obviously, we use Highnote and stuff like that for a bunch of stuff. And the reason why I actually wanted you here is because I feel like what you're doing is bigger than what people realize it is, because obviously I used, different platforms like Dropbox and things of that nature. And I personally don't even like sharing my music on Dropbox because of the quality. Like I notice when I play stuff for people and when I send stuff, I prefer and actually use your platform. We've used your platform for feedback sessions, a bunch of stuff. What was your story that happened to you at my house? I felt so bad for him with the Dropbox.
bad.
And I was the one that recommended it too, and I feel bad for
kid
that.
you not. So this is me before I was the wise man I am today, right? So I ain't backing nothing up. I'm still using the same. But the thing is, I wasn't backing things up. However, I never lost a session. I never lost a file. All of my drum kits I had in 2015.
So
I had in 2021.
Yeah.
So I just made a nice investment on this new MacBook.
Right.
So
I'm like,
you was just going in
raw dogging all my computers.
unprotected.
And
And
I
you was raw dogging your files, bro.
Absolutely.
And I told him, I said, yo, bro, I'm
That's
telling
not
you.
safe, man.
I said, bro,
So
I'm
that's why I
telling
was
you.
just like, I knew it wasn't safe. So when I made that new purchase, I'm like, I spent all this money. I might as well make sure everything is protected, right? So a month into having this new laptop, and keep in mind, now I'm starting to work heavily. So in that month, I made so much music, probably more than I had the month or the 3 months prior, right? So I'm like, let me just back everything up. We in the middle of an album. Let me figure it out. And I'm like, oh, there's this Dropbox sync thing where it'll just sync all my files into Dropbox. I'll pay Dropbox whatever a year to make sure all my stuff is protected.
Right.
So I did the sync thing. Somehow I can't remember much, but I know I've royally either messed up or Dropbox was just terrible. I want to go with just Dropbox was terrible because I've never paid them again
Right.
in my life. But we did the sync thing. Everything goes missing. I'm like, oh, I don't like this. Okay. Unsync it, delete it, yada, yada. Now everything is missing for real. I kid you not. We spent 3 hours. We was in the middle
I
of
feel
watching
so
a
bad
movie.
for you,
Bro, that's-
yeah.
And that was the long.
crazy.
I never got to finish that
And
movie.
it wasn't
Shout
even
out
on
Gaga.
your like hard drive.
It was.
It wasn't
like,
on. So it was. Everything was gone from the hard drive.
Yeah.
Like we were watching. I'll never forget. We was watching
Batman?
the Gucci movie.
House of
that
Gucci?
guy. Yeah.
Oh,
that
he's watching
Gaga
Gucci,
was in.
House of Gucci.
I never got to see.
I
how
finished
that.
that. My
movie
fault,
ended.
OG.
That's
Movie's
crazy.
amazing.
Man, no, y'all didn't stop. Y'all just saw me stressed. Once the movie was over,
we
then
was
it was
like,
"Yo,
dang,
what's
you
up?"
lost your life? Dang.
Everything was
Dang,
missing.
Gaga killing
Shout out to,
them.
what was it, Daisy Disc or Disc Drill?
Disc Drill.
Shout out to Disc Drill. I found a bunch of stuff. Everything was corrupted, so it's like it didn't help. But
You recovered some
artifacts,
shit.
yeah.
I lost, thankfully, it was just a month of stuff. And
Right.
anything that I had prior, I had on my old Windows that I transferred. So I just had to do the new transfer and all that. But to this day, Dropbox, you owe me a real fade. And if I see y'all at NAMM, it's going down.
So I say that to say, when it comes to platforms like yours, how, why, like, did you come up with the concept of Highnote and just kind of being like that hosting service that's strictly for audio or mostly for audio professionals and stuff like that? Like, what made you come up with this whole concept and stuff like that?
Yeah. So, like, my 9 to 5, ever since I got out of college, software engineering, app design. So I was a coder.
Okay.
So, like, I'm coding during the day. I'm working at tech startups. And, like, in the tech world, they have all these things that we kind of take for granted. Like, you can have a Google Doc and, like, comment on something, collaborate. You can use something called GitHub. Have y'all heard of GitHub?
Yes.
Right, so if you're an engineer, right, all your code is backed up on GitHub. You
Yeah.
can see the version differences. You can tag someone, say, change this, change that.
Right.
It's just how it works.
Right.
Then I would come home, and me and my roommate at the time, we were doing this, like, pop R&B group called Superfeel.
Okay.
So I think around that time, actually, I don't even think I talked about this with you. Bro, the first time I was ever put onto you, you had a song with William Singe.
Yeah, my guy.
I was running that shit, the controller joint. I was running that shit
That's
back,
funny.
bro.
That's my guy, yeah.
Yo, that shit was so fire. So anyway,
Appreciate that.
Point on the Illuminati board.
and so that's where I had the idea. I was like, we were sending our music out to blogs, right?
Oh,
so
yeah,
we were
classic.
like, we were sending it out. We what did we use at the time? Submit Hub.
Okay.
we
Oh,
were
my
using,
classic.
right?
I
And
hate
so, like,
y'all,
Me
Submit
too.
Hub.
And so it was just getting annoying to, like, send stuff out, right? And we would
Right.
get feedback, but we wouldn't really get good feedback.
Yeah.
We didn't know, like, okay, was it all bad, or you just didn't like this part, or could we
Right.
have something, right? And so, I'm coding during the day anyway, so I'm like, all right, I can fix this. Like, I can come up with something,
Right.
so that you can just leave a comment on an audio file.
Yeah.
I can come up with something that the original idea was, like, send a track to someone and allow them to have an interactive listening experience so that they can listen to the track and give feedback in an interactive way.
Right.
Not like just passively listening to it on Spotify or SoundCloud or Apple Music, but like, how could I make something that would help them answer questions, leave feedback for me so that I can make a better song?
Right.
That's all I was trying to do.
Gotcha. Okay.
And from there, it ballooned. At first, I thought it was kind of like a small scale idea, but then I started, like, drawing out different concepts. I started, like, posting in different Facebook groups. Started, like, pulling up to different meetups in the city.
Right.
And I saw pretty quickly that, like, a lot of people had the same
Gripes and
Kinda
issues.
right.
Kind of needed
that it
something,
was
right.
just
Right.
that it was just, for all the technology that we had, there was no really graceful way to just, like, send a track, get feedback on the track. And that was the core idea. And then from there, we just evolved it. So now it does a lot more than that, just that one piece. But that was the genesis. I just had the experience. So
Right. So you're just looking for an experience that people could actually give real good feedback and stuff like that.
Right.
Got you. Which is ironic because that's what we used obviously for our feedback sessions. It was easy. I mean, we flew through it. We all picked batches and we just kind of just flew through and just gave people real feedback.
Yeah.
Like he was leaving comments like, "Yo, this is fire," or like, "Yo, bro, honestly though."
I was going
I was
into
pissed
each
that
one.
I found out so late the voice note.
Yeah.
Yeah, yo, and that's the whole idea. It's like
Right.
somebody put a lot of their effort into making something,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and, like, we can give them an experience of, like, getting real feedback back. And so, like, the voice note, like, right over the track, or, like,
Right.
we even have the polls in there. About to
Yeah.
put out some more stickers and things like that. So, like,
Right.
just have this, like, really expressive experience, so that, like, reviewing the song and listening to the song and, like, kind of navigating the song is just as exciting as hearing it.
Right.
Like that's the kind of experience we ultimately want to create.
Right.
And I gotta
Absolutely,
give y'all a lot of kudos. I'm known on this podcast as the guy that I don't care how good anything is. If it don't look good, I'm not touching it. It's
Right.
like
Yo,
that's
my co-founder Chris, he was the first designer at Kickstarter.
Shout out
first
Chris.
non-product designer at Kickstarter.
Wow.
He was a creative director at Spotify, Jukely.
sheesh.
Like I was a designer myself.
Uh-huh.
We work with another designer, so like the design of the platform, like
Right.
literally every single part, like just getting the cards to float over the waveform in a horizontal way, so that the
Yes.
like as the sound is moving from right to left, the conversation is moving from right to
yeah.
left
Yeah.
too.
Right.
Just that like visual harmony
Right.
took us so long to figure out how to actually do that versus just like SoundCloud approach where you got the waveform and you just list the
Yeah.
comments.
Right.
And now you're just like scrolling through comments, but like where is that on the waveform? You're going back and forth. There's no like
Right.
harmony in the visual experience.
Exactly,
Right.
yeah.
And so we were like, one of the first decisions that we made was like, we want the comments over top of the shit. Like
Right.
we want it over the waveform
see it,
Right.
so
yeah.
you can see it and
Right.
line it up. And there's like a lot of things that come with that. Like
Uh-huh.
when does it show up? Does it slide to the right? Does it slide to the left? When you move the waveform, do the comments move automatically? Do they stop? When does the user want to take control? Like there's
Yeah.
so many like little gotchas in there.
Right.
But like from early on, we just dedicated ourselves to like having a really beautifully designed piece of software, and like
Right.
we just take that all the way.
And
It's
just run.
fine.
And that's it.
Run
And,
with it.
and we
Yeah.
give you that because it is. I remember the first thing I actually told you when we first started using it was the floating comments and stuff like that, and how much we liked it and things of
Yeah.
that nature. So
Yeah.
that was
That's
it.
the vibe.
That
We
was
want to take it
game-changing.
further. We want to have so many different types of comments, like
Yeah.
Right.
different types of expressions. Even leave a video reaction over a point on
hard.
the point in the
Yeah.
comment. Like we
Wow.
want to make it so that like
Wow.
when you are sending a track,
Uh-huh.
you can have this like really expressive exchange with
Yeah.
whoever you're talking to, or if you're just leaving notes for yourself,
Right.
like just having this really like elevated conversation.
Like you said,
over an
creating
audio
that
file.
community of proper feedback.
Exactly.
That's dope.
Exactly.
It's hard.
Interesting.
Yeah, man. I love it, man. It's fine, bro. It's like, you know, I could get real ignorant, but it's like the joint that just moved in from out of town. It's like, yo, who is she?
Hey yo,
Yo, look how you
yo,
correlated things.
how he took it. He said I'm a baddie, bro.
Yeah,
basically-
yeah. He said
that's basically what
I
he
know
said.
some baddie, man.
I'm
I'm
so
saying,
dead.
yo, I know the baddie for real.
Yo,
Yo, real talk.
Is
You
what
ever
it is.
played an audio file through Dropbox?
bro, I told you, it
Whoa.
sounds bad.
Chances are you probably haven't because they can't play Wave. That's
It
can't
play Waves?
annoying. Yeah.
So here's the spoiler alert, right?
Uh-huh.
So Dropbox, I guess at the time that this airs, Dropbox just invested in Highnote.
Oh, what?
Congratulations.
Congrats
Wow.
on that. That
Yeah.
what?
So the
So they're
reason
no longer the ops. Edit.
ops is a strong word. It's
Yeah.
like if you know
Uh-huh.
where you can improve,
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
then you invest and support the things that can level you up.
Absolutely.
And so Dropbox can level us up
Right.
by bringing Highnote to the millions of people who use it.
Right.
And then we
Absolutely,
can
yeah.
level them up by very soon, by the time this podcast drops, you'll be able to go to Dropbox, click a file that's in your Dropbox, right click, open it in Highnote.
Oh
That's
my
insane.
gosh,
Bro.
bro! Because I'm a big,
Congrats.
so I'm a big.
No, wait.
Congrats.
Yeah, no, that's
for
like
sure.
Thank you.
That's
That's
OD.
hard.
Thank
That's
you.
insane.
I'm a big Dropbox user, right?
Yeah.
I use it for my files, like
Yeah.
straight up, like,
Bro, just to be clear,
Right.
they're like I don't want to butcher the value. They're like a $7-8 billion company.
Yeah.
They're one of the largest and most successful companies on the earth.
Right.
Because they've made the best way to store files
Right.
for individuals and for creatives. It's not an accident that they are as
Yeah.
successful
Right,
as they are.
right.
So like when we were pitching them and they were talking to us, we quickly aligned on like, okay, Dropbox has been targeting musicians for years.
Right.
They have a whole brand called Dropbox for musicians. They have blog posts. They've worked with musicians during the pandemic.
Right.
Because they know that like artists are on Dropbox.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like a perfect fit because they saw us and they're like, okay, they can speak to this group that we already have on the platform
Right.
and level that part of it.
help part of it up. Oh my gosh, the Dropbox with the Highnote experience would be
I
fire.
might
Yeah.
reconsider my stance on Dropbox. You know,
Listen,
I think about it.
I need
That's
Dropbox
hard, though.
personally for me, and this is cool because we talking about kind of like storage and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna lie, that's like the unsexy thing in our community, but it's
Yeah.
so important because we all need it and we
Right.
all use it. For me, storage wise, when it comes to for instance, I'm submitting my album to like today, like to my label, and the easy way for me to make sure that my publisher, everyone has access to it is I have a nice folder that literally has everything in it. So I can just send that link. And I love that it's dynamic. I can literally switch out something right quick and put it, and it doesn't destroy the link and stuff like that. So it's the same thing. Like I've been sending my album around on Highnote, like to people, and I'll switch out a song like, new versions are up, but I don't need to change the link. I just keep switching it out and stuff like that.
Yeah. And in terms of like going back to Dropbox, or like the way we see it is like it's Highnote is a layer on top of Dropbox if you already have Dropbox. Right. So all your shit's in Dropbox. Again, you'll be able to just open whatever file that you have already in your Dropbox directly into Highnote. So it'd be like essentially taking the folder of tracks, and one click you would be able to turn that folder into a Highnote page with the artwork, the playlist.
Oh, okay.
Like you'll be able to convert a Dropbox folder to a Highnote space, and then vice versa. Any changes you make in Highnote will just go right back to your Dropbox, so you can have that added security of the additional storage if you wanted.
Yeah.
Right.
I wonder if the
That's
comments will transfer over as well, or
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
got you. That's gonna work, but you're gonna figure it out.
we'll
though.
figure
Like,
it
I
out.
promise.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, from a standpoint, one of the big things I wanted to kind of like talk to you about
Yeah.
is just business in general, right? Like in the audio kind of space and stuff like that. From a business perspective, I actually seen you talking about, and this could be advantageous to a lot of people that are entrepreneurs and stuff like that. For me personally, I'm here for information for myself. I've seen you talk about like seed funding and all kinds of things as far as like investments in your company and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I know you guys have done a significant amount of just like, obviously getting seeding funding and things of that nature. How does one go about soliciting for their company in that regard, like with venture capitalists and stuff like that? Like how did you navigate like that type of stuff?
Yo, good question. I think, well, first it comes back to a personal thing. You have to first decide that you want to do that. It's like kind of like when you take the step, you're like, I'm going to be a full-time artist.
Yep.
I'm going to be a full-time engineer.
Scary.
You make the decision and you put everything into doing that thing. So it got to the point where I was at my job. I was working on this side project, this app for this idea to get feedback. And I was working with Chris, our other co-founder, Paulina. I actually met Paulina at, I'm not sure if y'all heard of Topliner Camp. New York Topliner Camp.
No, what's
So
that?
she managed that group for a little bit.
Okay.
And they put on an event. That's actually where I met Paulina.
Okay.
So anyway, I was working with them. We're kind of working on it after work, like a school project type shit, right? But it got to the point where it was just like, we can fundraise for this. Like, this is not just a hobby project. Like, there are so many people who would want to use this. We should go out and raise money. And Google, bro. Like, we literally Googled. We were like, okay, like, I'd heard of like venture capital, but not really, bro. We were green. Like, we didn't know about this. Like, we looked up investors in New York. In fact, the first check we ever got was from me submitting a form to an investor who had an open form submission. So your original question, how can you submit your company for funding? A lot of investors now have forms on their website for you to submit your stuff.
Wow.
Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get funding.
Of course, right.
The vast majority of submissions do not get funding.
Of course.
But that's one way to start.
Right.
And it's it's literally like hustling your mixtape.
Right.
It's the same shit.
Right.
Like,
It's the same
you are
concept.
like pushing your product
Right.
and you're trying to get people to believe in something that is not clear to others.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And
try to
then
get
you
your
just-
point across
and then you
and
just
somebody
get
has to
your point
believe in it.
across. Exactly.
Right. Kind of thing.
And it's crazy because you made the comparison of like when we choose to just let go of our 9-to-5 and
Jump.
step into making music, and that's a very, very scary thing. So what would you say out there for anyone not scared to do that, but I guess from personal experience, I'm sure it wasn't the easiest thing to not only build this from the ground up, but build it post making a decision that grave.
Yo, I told my mom, all right, I'm quitting my job.
Right.
I had maybe 6 months of savings.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I got to find somebody to give me money in 6 months, or
Right.
I got to find another job.
Right.
So I told my mom, right? She's like, no, like, that's not responsible. She sends me a voice note that she intends to send to my father. You know when you send a message to the wrong person?
Yeah.
Yes.
She straight
Holy
up
crap.
sent a voice message to the wrong person, me.
Whoa.
And in this voice message, she's going off, bro. She's like, hey, you need to tell your son that he has responsibilities and that he can't blah, blah, blah. He needs to blah, 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 blah.
Right.
My mom is my biggest fucking fan, just to be very clear.
Of course.
Yeah.
I got you.
But
Understood.
I make this point to say that, like, there was nothing anybody could tell me in that moment. I made my decision.
Right.
Yeah.
I was quitting my job
Uh-huh.
and I'm starting this company.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
And so the advice is you have to bet on yourself. No one else will bet on you.
Right.
Like you have to bet on yourself. In fact, I think the culture is changing a little bit about this now in terms of like
Yes.
entrepreneurship and seed funding. But when I was getting our first investment, some investors wouldn't even invest in us if you said that you still had a job.
Wow.
Whoa.
Now, I think there's a
Okay.
lot of problems with that.
Sure.
Because it requires you to be financially stable enough to quit. Like, I think there's a lot of problems with that. And, like, I've called investors out on that.
Right.
Now that culture has changed. You know, if you have a job but you're working hard on your side project, you still deserve to get some funding so that you can quit your job and work on your main thing. That's
Right.
like,
In this economy,
duh,
Obvious.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
crazy, right?
Yeah.
But at the time, 4 years ago when we started this, I remember filling out one of those submission forms. Hey, I have a company. This is what we want to do. Will you invest in us? Immediate rejection. Cited answer. You already have a job.
Wow.
We can't
Immediately.
invest in you unless you. Said another way, we won't invest in you until you have decided to fully invest in yourself.
Wow.
Now, again, there are tons of problems with that.
Sure.
But
Absolutely.
in that moment, at that time, Jordan having a full-time job was enough for that investor to be like, he's clearly not committed enough
Right.
to this thing. Otherwise, he would
be
be
fully,
all in.
Right.
Um,
Wow.
so take that how you want to take it, but there is an emotional shift that you got to make. That you'd be like, you know. And then people were like, well, how come you can't work on it after work? And how? But like, I couldn't explain it to anybody. It was just like, no, like I have to do this.
Right. Fully.
I have to fully do
Right.
this, dedicate my time and my mental energy
Right.
to this.
Right. One thing I'll say about that and why I agree with you just from a musician standpoint is because as I was making my transition to being a full-time artist, I remember I was working at my job full-time and I started to pick up video work, photography, recording studio. I started to pick up everything because I was like, okay, at the very least, until the music actually takes off, I at least want to be around it 24/7.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, cool. So I was at my job full time and I was using the money from my job to literally buy equipment. Slowly, I was getting video work in recording studios. I went part-time. So then I was in between doing music. And then eventually I was able to go, boom, now I could fully just kind of like commit to it and stuff like that. So that transition was like that.
Scary.
And
Scary.
but you have to make that leap. You got to be like, all right, I have saved up my nest egg.
Right.
Yeah.
I can jump
Yeah.
and do this. So I had 6 months.
Right.
And I was like,
What-
all right.
Right.
I got and then it's like I like deadlines. So it's like I got 6 months.
Right.
And I thought somebody on this planet can give me
Something.
a few $1,000s
Right.
to work on this
Facts.
full time.
Right.
Somebody I can find some fucking body
Right.
in 6 months.
To
But that's
give
a bet that I made on myself. Like I knew
Yeah,
I
get
would
you.
be able to do that. Or I didn't know. I guessed.
But
I
you
hoped.
guessed. Right. Blind delusion.
Yeah. Kinda.
Yeah, that
Because
kinda
looking
thing.
back, I was like, nigga, with what plan, bro?
Yo.
With
Yo,
what
you-
app?
what?
With what
Remember,
money?
like
Because it was. I'm kind of correlating it to me, Dolo. It wasn't as grave because shout out to parents and not having to pay bills. Yeah.
Yo,
But I remember
shout out
when-
parents, bro.
Facts.
I'm at my parents' house right now.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
Shout out parents.
Shout out. Yo, Gabe,
What you call it?
my man Gabe too. Like,
Word?
straight up.
Wow.
You got to be
Literally,
honest about that
bro.
shit.
Yeah,
what?
man. And I'm, and sorry to
you
stop
good.
you, but I'm very big on that. Like, I'm the guy that always would push people to go, yo, don't leave that place. Like, if the situation is cool and and you're trying to build something, stay right there and figure it out, as opposed to being I don't want to say a word like a beholden to a place. Because I used to tell my friends all the time when we was in our like 20s, they were like, I'm about to move out, yada yada. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. You're gonna move out. This is New York City, by the way. I'm just gonna let you know. You're gonna move out the crib, and this goes for musicians, artists, everybody. You move out the crib, and once you move out the crib, now you have to come up with $1,500 a month to pay that rent. So what happens? Everything that you want to do gets compromised because you have to survive. You're always in survival mode. And it's so hard to get out of survival mode or to like kind of go for the dream when you're just trying to survive. You know what I mean? Like, see it like this. And this is my last point about this. In the year 1800, right? Let's look at the year 1800.
Oh shit.
Okay, the year 1800.
Damn. How was
Yeah, how was
school
that?
back
Oh,
then?
it was awesome. The gramophone was there. We played music. Michael Jackson was around
gramophone.
yet. You bastard.
Michael
Anyway.
Jackson wasn't around in 1800.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Imagine being alive and no Thrillers out. Crazy.
That's crazy. I ain't gonna lie. It was crazy. It was
Couldn't
crazy.
relate.
Anyway.
In 1800.
In 1800 is crazy. Michael Jackson, 1800, them people would have been shook if they saw that man moonwalk on he would have been
They would have stoned.
sorcery. But like look at the 1800s, right? Yeah. I look at the year 1800 to the year 1900, and I go, okay, what advances? Oh, how much change technology-wise from 1800 to 1900? Then I say to you this, 1980 to 2024, and we go, fam, leaps and bounds. But it's because we figured out certain things, medicine and how, like we figured out how to check our boxes on a bare minimum so that we could grow even faster now. So to me, that's why I think it's important, and that's my point as far as like making sure that you have a stable foundation before, or just using the stable foundation to, catapult yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm big on stay home. Don't let nobody tell you or stray you away from that. Like I'm very big on that.
Bro, we at the point they can't even add no more cameras to the iPhone, bro.
What you mean?
Like they won't. We've been at 2 and 3 for the last 6 years.
Yo, I'm so confused. What are you talking about?
How many cameras we've had on the iPhones for the last 6 years?
2, 3.
Yeah.
Wait,
like
what?
we can't excel no more. You talking about between the 80s and 2024? Like we've hit the peak.
There's no more
It's
room on the
3
shit, bro.
Look where his
It's the
brain
ceiling.
goes, bro.
This is it.
No, but I say all that to say, yeah, man. I was in. I remember. Oh, it was so funny because he was around. He saw everything. But when I was in high school. I was in high school, pandemic time, so I'm graduating. I'm not even in class. I'm just outside pursuing this dream until I have to get back to class again in college. So behind my parents' back, I'm like, yo, let me go get this music scholarship.
Yeah.
I get the music scholarship. They like, why are you going to school for music? You already cool at it. I'm like, leave me alone. Right. So I use that, move out to closer to the city. I'm able to work. But then I also got to go to class. Right. And then after that first year, thought I had a situation that would change my life. I don't know why I would think that looking back, but whatever. Dropped out without telling my parents, which was funny, hilarious. But then I had to, one of them days, I was just like, eventually they're going to be like, how's school? So I remember having a conversation with my mother, and she was straight up. She was like, hey, that's cool. You have until... a few months out from then. Right. And it was like, you got to figure this out because it seems like you put everything behind music. Right. That's cool. But if you don't got, you either going to be back in school working or out of here by this day. Right. And I had the same idea of like, bro, I got a few months. There's nobody that could believe in me to give me a few bands to just make music. Right. Thankfully, shout out to God, somebody did, but it's scary. Yeah. Because I remember Devvon has known me since I was fucking 16,
about 14,
15, yeah. And it was he would always be the unk that would be like, yo,
that's crazy. Call me unk, but I'm gonna let that slide.
He's gonna let that slide.
He'll be like, yo, one of these days, bro.
Your uncle,
one of these days, this shit gonna get scary, bro. One of these days, you gotta. And I was like, man, I ain't trying to hear all that. I'm having fun right now. Yeah. And then he saw when one of them days happened. He's and I hit him. I'm like, yo, bro, I got a few months to figure it out. He like, get on that shit. Then.
Yep. Here comes life, and that's the difference between people that figure it out or people that sink. Sink or swim. Yeah. It's really a scary thing, but I do understand that. One thing I want to kind of piggyback off of, being that we was talking about, what was you talking about specifically? We talking about like just technology, right? Thank you. We talking about technology and stuff like that. As far as how much advancement we've made, I'm sitting here thinking about AI, right? Yeah. And how AI has really been like a hot button topic, like amongst us, like with everything. It's honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's actually making my job with a bunch of different things a lot easier. So I say to myself, damn, imagine when I was like, grinding on that mode, what AI could have done for me then. Yeah. And I think about the people that have access to it now. And I know that you're pretty well versed in the subject, or you're just an enthusiast about AI and stuff like that. So what are your thoughts on AI? Because I'll be honest with you. Let me tell you, preface this before you start saying anything. The community is so mixed on the opinion about AI in today. What is yours, especially with a platform like Highnote, right? Like in my head, I'm just waiting for, so what's your AI vibe? You know what I mean? Like what's going on?
I think mixed is an understatement. It's like, it's such a big topic.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
we could break this shit down.
Right.
But it's like, at Highnote, our stance is pretty clear. It's like, the AI is not going away.
It's not going
Yeah.
in.
Just to be
Crazy.
very clear.
Very
Like, it's not.
I heard ChatGPT speak patois
It's
today.
not
Fuck
going
me up.
away, yeah. And like, I think you kind of mentioned it before, like in your kind of data, like in your other work that's not music, like using AI. If y'all haven't started using ChatGPT to write emails and shit, bro.
Fam. I wrote my wedding, for the venue, my wedding contract.
Yo.
I wrote that right on ChatGPT.
Yeah,
Man,
you know,
I said,
business
here's the
I'm putting
contracts,
out
value.
a
all that
record.
stuff.
I'm putting out a record. I had a press release. Hey,
You know what I'm
ChatGPT,
saying?
help me put this together. What's
Right.
up?
Sometimes I gotta like write a long thing, and so I'll just talk to it and be like, I'll say all my thoughts and be like, edit this.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, and you be like,
And it's just like my thoughts perfectly. So anyway, so that's just an aside. But like when it comes to creativity, there's a big thing about like ethical AI, right? So like thing number one is like, it's here to stay, so you have to do it responsibly. I think we're gonna see a lot. I think we're gonna see like a legal hailstorm of all the companies that are like using copyrighted material to train generative AI models and blah 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 blah. Like,
so are you referring to what is it called? What is it called?
Suno?
Suno.
yeah, they
Yeah.
raised a huge round.
Yeah, shout out to them.
And you know, but we've seen this in technology before, right?
Right.
Like the tech will come along, it'll revolutionize something, and then you'll have a war between the tech and the incumbents, and we'll see that. But for Highnote, it's like we want to create AI that helps the conversation.
Okay.
We're not necessarily focused on, you know, creating tools that replace musicians. Like
Right.
that's not.
Right.
We don't even really think that's possible. Like
Yeah.
we're not. We don't even want to do that.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
Right.
To us, like our motive is like, because of AI, more and more people are going to be making music, and they're going to be
Absolutely.
making music through different ways. Some people will use the DAW hands-on,
Right.
right there in Pro Tools and Ableton, clicking the buttons.
Right.
Some
NFL.
people will use Suno and come up with an idea.
Yeah.
And some people use both. Some people will type their idea in Suno, make the song, send it to somebody who's using Ableton. They'll slice it up, mix it up,
Right.
put it in a sampler, throw it to somebody else.
Right.
And what you're going to get is this like influx of people making the music.
Exactly.
And so we think the natural effect of that is going to be more conversation about music, more people sharing, sending files back and forth. So that's where we want to be, right? We want to say like, okay, based on all the chatter and the feedback about the song in this Highnote space, here are some suggestions. Here are the to-do list items. Here are the suggestions how you might take the mix to the next level.
Right.
And kind of let the artist do what the artist wants to do, but keep the organization and the workflow. That's the kind of mechanical part that we think AI can
produce.
can be an asset to.
Yeah, I heard you said something that really, really caught my ear. It'll become a war of the incumbents and the tech. Just a general question for my people, all of us. Would you think you'd be on the side of the tech or the side of the...
That's not the question.
Ooh,
That's not the question.
what is the question?
Because we don't even have to think about it in terms of AI, just technology in general. Are y'all, when you make a trap beat, well, I don't know who I'm talking about. Y'all, when you make a trap beat,
Yeah.
do you have a hi-hat and you're doing 64th notes right there with your hands?
No.
No.
I understand what you're saying.
No.
Yeah.
A computer
Right.
produced
Yeah.
those sounds.
Right.
Like songs are made in machines now.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's already.
Right.
Yeah.
So going from that to, or if you're in Photoshop, in the brush tool,
Yeah.
bro, that's already generative.
Yeah. I get
You are not painting that shit.
Right. Technically.
The voice plugin that you're using to apply, that's the computer.
Right.
That's an algorithm.
Right.
So going from there to AI is just that's just terminology, essentially. It's just
Honestly,
like this
it's
one
just
is doing it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So we've always, technology has always helped artists
Right.
do doper shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Funny you mention that because I'm a big fan of Dave Pissato, the mix engineer.
Yeah.
And I remember one time Dave said, he was like, he felt, and sorry if I'm misquoting you, Dave, by the way. Dave is a good friend of the show, by the way. I know he watches. Shout out Sam. He said he likes to use new tools because new tools force him to do new things.
Absolutely.
And he was like, he likes to keep up with the new stuff. Terrence Martin, for instance,
Yeah.
when he turned Herbie Hancock back in the day, he was like, when you look at Herbie Hancock and all of those legendary musicians, you didn't see them using a vintage blah 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 trombone and all. You saw them using the newer stuff.
Yep.
So again, I fall into the place when it comes to AI, right? I've embraced it heavily. I do understand the shortcomings of it, but I also remember, right, a time where when FL Studio came out, it was scolded. It was like the worst thing on earth. It was like, this is unethical, etc. and stuff like that. So I keep hearkening back to those moments where I'm like, oh, it's the same thing again, and I don't want to be behind because some kid in his room now is catching up to me skill-wise with the tools that he has in his hands.
We had a Highnote user write in, I swear to you, he said, I started making music with Suno.
Wow.
Imagine it. I started making music
Right.
with Suno.
Right.
Wow.
Wow.
I ain't gonna lie, we're all unk to him.
Oh, for sure.
I
Big on-
started making music
Right.
within AI.
Yeah.
within it.
Insane.
Like, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, for some people, that'll be their whole thing.
Right.
And that's fine.
Right.
I think for most people, it'll be like that. It'll be another paintbrush. It'll just
Right.
be another tool in the
Right.
toolbox. Do I use this? Do I use that? You know what I mean? You might use an AI to come up with some ideas. You might
Right.
chop up the idea,
Right.
Yeah.
flip it, do something different with it.
True.
And then record over that. You know what I mean? To the
Yeah.
point where you know what I mean? People couldn't even replicate it if they wanted to. Like,
Right.
artists
Right.
will still do their thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just,
It's still just an additional means
we
to
see
the
it as
same
an
end.
additional tool.
On
You
top
know
of
what
it.
I mean? Exactly.
Check this out.
Exactly.
Big Unk vibes. Back in the day, when I would want to do remixes and stuff like that, I would have to search online for the instrumental. We would go to Hipstrumentals. We go to all those places.
Yep.
Now, I look at like what people have access to now, and I'm like, bro, you
I
can
ain't gonna
literally download it from iTunes and rip the vocals right out.
Download it from
Crazy.
iTunes. We could download it from YouTube. I'm kidding. We're not getting.
We ain't
YouTube
shouting out.
content.
Yeah, we have no, we
But
don't do
no,
that.
Yeah, that's.
We
I ain't
don't
gonna
do-
lie. Because I'm in remix mode. I have been in remix mode,
Uh-huh.
and none of it. I kid you not. I think 0% of the joints I've done
Uh-huh.
have a instrumental on the YouTubes.
Wow.
It's, like literally, I'll search because it'll be a better quality. I think,
Right.
but I would always end up just ripping the vocal out.
Right.
Calling it a day.
But and you come up with that. See, and even with DAWs now, with I guess you could say it is kind of AI with the DAWs now with the stem separation and stuff like that.
Oh, not kind of. It is.
It is, right?
Yeah, it
Okay,
is.
you would consider that AI.
Absolutely.
That's insane. Like
Yeah,
I
stem
don't think people
separation.
realize you come from the CD. You had a CD writer, so I know you know the vibes. It is so mind-boggling to see that today because it's like,
Yep.
bro, like you know what we could have did back in the day,
Back in
like
the
with
day.
that type of stuff. So
Yep.
it's wild. What?
So we're definitely bringing that in. We're definitely gonna bring that into Highnote. You'll be able to
Wow.
like. Right now, you have a track. You'll be able to open up your track, see the stems in and comment on different parts of that.
Right.
You know, so those are the ways that we'll probably bring it. And for the newer generation of creators who are
Right.
going to be AI native, like the dude I just told you about,
Right.
Who you know what I mean?
crazy.
Who might it kind of reminds me of like back in the day. I started making websites. That was like my hustle in high school. There was this app called iWeb. Have y'all heard of iWeb?
Yeah. What?
Have y'all heard of Dreamweaver?
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Dating
No.
myself. Dreamweaver.
I had
Yes.
classes on Adobe Dreamweaver.
Okay, so remember
Absolutely.
Dreamweaver, you could drag and drop
Pictures
WYSIWYG
and-
editors, right?
Yes.
People would shit on those. Be like, oh, you're not really coding.
Really?
You're drawing pictures. But that's crazy now
Right.
Yeah.
because like that's a totally valid way of like getting something started.
Right.
So we kind of see it as like for the next generation of creators who
Uh-huh.
will certainly use different AI tools to get their projects started.
Right.
You'll start to see some of those in Highnote. Like our whole vibe is like people are going to create in so many different ways.
Right.
And no matter what your skill level, whether you're using a DAW, the most advanced DAW, whether you're not using a DAW and you're like manipulating like the raw physics of the sound wave,
Right.
or you're using Suno or you're using whatever,
Right.
Highnote is going to be that central place where you can put things in, send it to
Right.
somebody. That I can work with you. You're using Suno, I'm using Ableton.
Right.
Now we're working together.
Right.
You know what I
Seamlessly
mean?
and
It's like,
stuff like that.
we're gonna. That's where we want to be that kind of centralizing layer, so that no matter how you create,
Right.
what your level is,
Right.
because we want to be accessible. Like it would be crazy to be like, oh, people over there who are just getting started and are just learning about music,
Absolutely. Wow.
to be like, oh, fuck them. They use this, that, and the third. Like
Right.
that's
Yeah.
Right. Do you? So there's okay. So for me, right, and we're all aware of it, but I come from the era of mixtapes, right?
absolutely
I come from
that piff.
yo. I ain't like
Yeah.
I ain't like that
Yo,
golly.
favorite mixtape era, John, for real.
Ooh, I ain't
favorite
gonna lie.
mixtape era.
I ain't gonna lie.
favorite genre from a mixtape era.
Oh, okay, got you. Say less.
Friday Night Lights, man.
Wow, okay.
That's
I
my
res-
joint.
I
Or
respect-
Cushion OJ.
That's a Cole.
Yeah.
That
Cushion
changed
OJ
Cole's
too, but
everything.
yeah, Cushion
That's
OJ is
cool.
like a
Yo,
good-
Wiz,
OJ.
bruh.
It was Wiz. You
Wiz.
know what?
It was Wiz.
For me, it gotta be Wiz because I remember.
I don't love them. I don't chase them. I duck them.
Bro.
Smoke something. Go to one of them states soon as I fuck them.
Bro.
Niggas be pressed with
different.
pussy. I don't, like what? Like he was
Nah,
just
Wiz is that
floating,
dude.
bro.
Yo,
just,
Wiz was on something.
Yo, on something. Well,
Let
we
me-
know exactly
sure.
what he was
I know,
on.
yeah, of course,
but he
bro.
was floating, bro.
It was crazy. Let me tell you something about that Wiz Khalifa tape.
Yeah.
That tape was so important to independent artist music
Yeah.
in that era that when we saw what was possible for this kid to like just have this mixtape, that it exploded. And then he caught the big single. Then it became the Super Bowl song, Pittsburgh. I've never seen someone have a more perfect
know
like
what
the
it
one,
That's
like
how-
God said,
That's
got
how-
you.
That's how
Black
my
and yellow,
My gosh.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, that was a fire.
They make
Yo,
the Super Bowl.
It was a great run. That was how my era felt with acid rap for Chance.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
cool.
okay.
That's like
Because
the
a lot of
Lord
Acid
people,
rap-
a lot
so-
of people love 10 Day, and then
Yup.
and
This is
then
the
once,
blogger.
and it was a great project. But once Acid Rap came out,
that
it
was
was like,
heavier blogger.
no, something happened here.
So is
like,
it fair? Acid rap was like toward the end of the mixtape.
It's like the end of the
era,
I would
right?
say
So
it's
Acid
towards the
rap
end of the
came when
mixtape
I
era.
was just sophomore in college.
Yeah.
So it was probably it was
towards
sliding
the end.
out.
It was
Yeah.
towards the end.
I
Yep.
forgot
Yeah.
what year it was, but
That was
I'll tell you this.
2014-ish.
2014?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was kind of the vlog era was kind of ending.
Was kinda
for the most
ending,
part.
yeah.
What I say is I remember like I was living in Florida at the time. I was at Full Sail. So I remember like Gucci Man mixtapes. I remember
50,
Yellow
50.
Wolf. That's when I first found Yellow Wolf.
Shout out KP.
Everybody. I had a mixtape on I've had plenty of mixtape on that. Please do not try to find them. And I remember like it cost $1,500. You know, it had the top 3 mixtapes at the top.
Yeah.
I remember paying like $1,500 for the placement for a week. And
Oh, shit.
we would look at the downloads, and that's what you judge your tape on, like how many
Yep.
downloads you got.
Yep.
That was the vibe back in the day, and it helped a lot.
And so when we talk, just like to bring it back to like the tech and like why is something like Highnote novel or new? It's because like everything that y'all just described is a new phenomena.
Right.
Like you just described, like seeing Wiz like blow up from a mixtape. Like it's only in the last 10, 15 years that we've seen creators be able
Right.
to create music so quickly.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so we're seeing this like proliferation.
Right.
Like there wasn't the demand of like sending beats back and forth at light speed.
Yeah.
Right.
We're working on different projects remotely.
Right.
You know, you pulling up to my studio, I'm pulling up to your studio, you doing this mixtape, you doing that wasn't a thing. So the tech is like catching up
Yeah.
to that. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and you'd be surprised, like a lot of investors, a lot of people in the tech world, they look at musicians and they're like, they don't really need tools.
Right.
I wonder.
Little
You know how many times I've heard that they don't pay for tools?
That's crazy.
I'm like, are you crazy? You know how much
Crazy.
money musicians spend?
Crazy.
Spend
This
so much money.
ridiculous. They don't need. How often do they send files back and forth?
I'm like, bro, that's literally the bane
You know
of
what
our
I'm saying?
existence.
Question. Once again, another episode of Where Does My Brain Go?
Okay.
How do you think, like, mailmen felt about email?
Yo,
Ooh, probably was a threat.
that's a good
But
question.
you can't get a package through an email.
Sure. So there was always going to be, you're going to need us, but that's a weird thing. I'm not going to lie.
That is a strange question, but
I'm not gonna
that's
lie, we saved a lot of
interesting
trees.
question.
That is a great question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google that.
You're
Yeah.
gonna find an OG mailman like, yo,
Old Gmail, like back in the day, we was
Gmail
scared.
came
You know
out.
what I'm
what's the-
saying?
Well, one thing back in the day, we used to have to. Speaking of the sessions, and I'm gonna age myself so bad.
This the Unk Pod.
We used
Facts.
the Unk Pod. I remember emailing, packaging and sending Pro Tools sessions on CDs.
Yep.
So if my boy needed the session,
That's crazy.
yeah,
I never did that.
Insanity.
He said,
That's
wait a
crazy.
second.
I thought she was gonna say,
That's-
yo, we were sending our CDs out to get
Wait.
heard. No.
Yeah. No.
So
we
then,
were
like-
packaging the Pro Tools
Yo,
files.
waiting 5 days
Wait.
to get the session just for the session to be wrong.
is crazy.
You talking about? Wait, hold on. You talking about like a floppy disk or some type
Not a
of stuff?
floppy
A
disk.
floppy
There was never
disk
enough
is
space on a floppy
crazy.
disk.
Nah,
There's not enough
because you
space.
got to think about it. I'm sitting there like, so
No,
you're
a
taking
floppy disk. A floppy disk has like 10 megabytes of
Yeah,
space.
you got
That's
10
true.
megabytes.
But then, so you
Think
taking
about
a
that.
CDRW? So you taking like a CDRW and just like I'm gonna just
A
burn this
USB
project
drive?
on
Yeah,
here.
burn the project on it,
Yeah.
and then I would get them, and then we would put the CD, and then open up Pro Tools.
Now we
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Well, now we have Uber Connect.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll put the USB drive in
No,
an
just-
Uber.
just in case.
It'll
Here's the
be there in
whole-
25 minutes.
Here's the whole
Bro,
system.
The
Yeah.
evolution of just technology, man, and making things easier.
No
And,
way.
You know, this is why I say, and why I brought up the mixtapes, because I'm gonna be honest, there's certain things that I even look at within the platform, Highnote and stuff like that, and I'm like, dang, I'm like, with these comments and the way I feel like community can be built here, this is like on a slightest scale. It gives me this mixtape
Spinrilla-ish, yeah.
Yo,
like,
it's
where it's
some
like,
high note
yo-
spaces with like 200 people in them.
right,
Just talking back and forth.
right.
So that's
right.
not our that's like a pleasant surprise for us.
Right.
Seeing
Yeah.
some high note spaces just pop off.
Right.
People talking about their beats in there, you know what I mean? So it's like our vision is like our one platform can actually be like from demo to distribution.
Right.
High note is that communication platform. So whether you're taking your notes solo,
Right.
you finally send them to somebody else to work with.
Right.
All right, now y'all good. Y'all send them to your first listeners. Cool. Now the whole community's talking about it.
Right.
That's end to end. Your
Well,
chat
that's
is
insane.
that's
So-
that's
Right.
and I
happening
think-
in that one place.
So this brings me, I guess, to my opus question. I don't know if y'all have more, but is that something you would lean more into moving on into the future of Highnote? And if not, or if that, what else is in the future?
For sure. Like
Yeah.
that, like hosting projects.
Like Dropbox.
Yes,
What the fuck?
for real. Because
Yeah,
I love,
so-
I really, genuinely, and this is just like a user feedback. Like, if I could host a mixtape in that thing and see a space with everyone, and it's,
Yeah.
I can give a private link. I can
And
make
don't
it,
just do that. Get the private link, sell the private link, put up 3 different versions of the mixtape, and let your premium fans listen to the 3 versions that you didn't release on Spotify. And now you have a high note space. That's the behind the scenes shit.
Right.
You got your annotations from all the behind the scenes tips and tricks they want to know.
Right.
They can listen to the old, to the older version of it.
Right.
Download the stems, blah blah blah. Have a chat with you.
Wow. Right.
All that kind of
That's
stuff. Yeah.
Crazy.
the ticket right
Yeah.
there.
So that's what we mean by demo to distribution.
Right.
Because that same platform you're using to even come up with the mix in the first place.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you're moving it into another space, making it public, and then now it's a chat room with you and your close friends and your close fans that you're charging for.
Exactly. For exclusive, for that exclusivity
Yeah.
and stuff
So
like
it's
that.
like it's the end-to-end demo to distribution communication platform
Right.
for audio.
Art,
for-
audience,
man.
and audio. Wow.
Hey, yo, Image Line. There's something y'all could do something really dope right now that'll shit on these guys. But
I'm
Yo,
not
it's-
gonna
it's
lie.
turning up,
or
bro.
or Ableton,
I-
you could do the one thing that will actually put you on the map.
We're talking
that's
to Ableton.
crazy.
Really?
Yeah, we're talking to native
manifesting.
instruments. Yo, Chris is
I
going
wanna
crazy,
do
man. Talking to
Ableton.
native instruments.
Wow.
Do they speak
Talking to
English
Ableton.
over at Ableton? Because we don't know nothing about
Yo,
that.
don't be talking about 12
Yo,
like
but they
that.
making. I told you they making content. They wilding over there on the low. But great question as far
That
as
was
being
a
the
great
bag of
question,
open
yeah.
stuff, for questions and stuff like that. Jordan, really appreciate you being here.
Absolutely, bro.
Really appreciate the.
I'm a fan, bro.
No, thank you, bro. Thank
a
you.
fan, man.
And that's why it
Yeah.
just makes sense. And we've always had such a good working relationship with you, Paulina, Chris, everybody over there.
man,
And
absolutely.
just so thankful for actually supporting us. What we do and seeing our vision, because not a lot of people see our vision as far as what we're trying to do and stuff like that. And it's just nice to have that synergy. And I like to have CEOs and things of that nature on the show, because I've also been trying to put out there to our audience that be mindful of who you support from all these audio companies and stuff. Like, a lot of us are so used to, I don't even know who the CEO of this or this, or you really don't know, like, are these good people? Are these people actually like artists and musicians? Like, are they for the community? So I just like having people like you on to really like kind of let people see, like, yo, this is the guy behind the product, and like, yo, this is like someone that really cares about it and stuff like that.
And
That's
likewise, bro,
fairly
like we're
new-
locked in, man. Like
Right.
it's like back to the first topic about like taking that leap, right? And going out and doing something by yourself. Like a big thing for us was like finding your people, finding your co-founders.
Yeah.
Who are the people who are going to lock in with you
Right.
on day one
Right.
and like, pour into you just as much as you pour into them and like
Absolutely.
build that business relationship from the jump. And so
Right.
Yeah.
that's what it is, bro.
Yeah, that's a new thing. That's a fairly new thing. I could be wrong, but it feels like all of the, like, not you, Unc, but like your unks, the unks that came before you,
Doubling down.
feel
Came
like they
before
knew-
you.
Double unks.
Yeah,
Yo.
they
The
like
founder owned.
think about it.
Came
Like, we
before
knew
you
who was
ancestors,
behind. Yeah, we knew who Gibson. We knew who was behind the Les Paul. We knew who
Yeah.
George Neumann was, who Rupert Neve was, and it's like
That's true.
because the influx of audio companies, we've lost the personable
Yes.
thing with that. So
Yes,
hey, man.
absolutely. And I'm here to like have those conversations and to tell a company, and just for us, I have to say this. I will sit here and tell you things I like about a company And then I'll tell you things I absolutely don't like about a company. For instance, even our little going Universal Audio joke that we have. Obviously, you see me come over here and tell you the truth and say to myself, like, yo, I don't like their conversion. I don't like this. I don't like this.
Adam.
But I won't lie if something is great. You know what I mean? And I feel like, and what people, unbeknownst to people, is sometimes these companies will reach out to us and just ask for our honest feedback on things because they've seen us say, we don't like this and we don't like this. And shout out to those companies that say, that don't get mad at us and try to silence us, which that's a whole nother conversation, but rather say, all right, we heard this. We seen the community also agree or disagree with you. Well, how can we improve that? How can we make that better? Even just, like, bro, even in the slightest way. So that conversation and these kind of conversations are very important to me because I feel like there's none of this out there for the audio community at all. Like, there's no conversation. It's just kind of we all in our home and we kind of like just got to eat it. You know what I mean? As far as everything.
And
so
same for us. It's like we want to know the shit that y'all don't like.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Like,
Facts.
I'm the CEO. If you don't like something about the product, please call me.
Right.
Hit
how-
my
it's
phone,
how we
bro,
improve.
so
Right.
we can talk. So I know,
Right.
You know what I mean? What part you didn't like, so we can fix it. I mean, that's
Right.
the whole reason I started the company,
Right,
Because I wanted to send something to somebody,
Right.
and know what they think. So it's like,
Right.
you know, Chris and Paulina, Alyssa too. Like,
Alyssa,
we're all in the DMs,
Right.
You know, we're all in the email,
Right.
You know. Positive feedback just as good as negative feedback. Like, we want to hear it all.
Heck yeah.
That's how we
Hey,
get
man,
better.
if somebody wanted to reach out to you, how could they find you?
My email, jordan@highnote.fm.
Jordan at highnote.fm.
What about social media wise?
Jordan.bradley. I'll send it. I'll
put a link in the description. Yeah, I'll put a link in the description for sure. And one thing I want to shout out Chris, Paulina, Elisa,
The whole
Alyssa,
gang, man.
the whole gang over
bro.
at High Note and stuff like that. You know, obviously we talk all the time. And then shout out to, I'm gonna give a round of applause to Jay.
Big
Yo,
J.
Big
Jay,
Jay.
yo.
Jay's the homie, man.
Jay Dilla.
Yo.
Shout out Jay. You know Jay, everybody. So Jay,
Yo.
you know, just holds it down just
For
in
sure.
between just all of the stuff with us and just keeping me up to date with y'all and y'all, you know.
Yo,
yeah.
likewise. When Chris told me, like, yo, I think we're gonna do some work with HMD, Devvon Terrell. I said, who? Huh? He was like, yeah. I was like, nah. So we got on that first call. I was like, yo. So
Yeah.
That's what's
definitely
up, man.
props to both teams. Like, we
Appreciate
you know,
it.
and this
Absolutely,
is
man.
not even this is not the last time, bro.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure. No. We've had some good times. You know what
Of
I'm
course,
talking about.
of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
of course.
A Paramore night with
Paramore
who was
night.
we with?
Paulina.
Goodness.
Paulina, that was
Paulina.
awesome.
Oh shit.
Yeah. We like, you know, and that's what and like I said, that's what I'm saying. As far as, you know,
Paulina's a
people
real one, yo.
building
for
with
real.
people
Building these
for sure.
relationships, yeah.
Like, Paulina's just like in the like she's outside
Yeah.
in the community.
Yes, exactly. And that's why you see us together so much.
Yeah.
Because I just know the backing of like
Human beings.
who's there. Like,
Yeah.
just like Master Plan with Sam Fishman and you know what I mean? And Stan, it's just, I like people that are like
Actually human.
human
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
really dope stuff.
I'm
Right?
trying to be
Schwab.
politically correct. We just sat here and talked about Kush and OJ. What are we
That's
talking
I love that,
Yo, I'm a CEO actively fundraising millions of dollars right now, and I just rapped.
Wiz
Niggas,
Khalifa?
niggas be pressed for pussy, it ain't nothing. Instead of worrying about who that bitch fucking wants, you get you some money.
The duality.
9 times out of 10,
hard.
she see me stunting, gang running, want to know my hotel and who phone number when she
Yeah,
call, and I
boy.
keep
I
it
like the
100.
verse.
Hey, while we
Get
here,
love from the hoes, but it's money over bitches, nothing above it.
Keep it
Wiz
always.
Khalifa.
You know what I'm saying?
If you want to put that record on High Note and tell us what you almost
real?
said
Hey, yo.
and what you almost did with that,
Yo,
you know what
Hey,
we need some artists on the Noted campaign. We need some artists to come in and like do some track breakdowns and
Oh, wow.
give fans some like behind the scenes looks at how a song came together
Wow.
and talk about those on High Note. That's so
Jay.
On the way.
anybody who's into that.
Jay,
Dilla.
you already know OTR. I'm going to say a few words. On the radar, producer, content. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yup. Holy
Yo,
crap.
they leaking stuff on here. Yo, this has
Anyway.
been.
Yeah, so on that note, once again, just making some noise for
Clap
Jordan
it
one
up.
time, y'all.
One
Thank
time.
y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Really appreciate you being here, man. Appreciate all the support and
For real,
stuff like
man.
that you've given
Likewise,
us, and I
bro.
hope that we've reciprocated that as well.
Absolutely.
And yeah, just anything else that you want to leave out on the table, just any last words you want to leave us with, or anything you got going on that you want everybody to know about and stuff like that.
Nah, man.
We them boys.
Other than that, yo. Yeah.
Bet. Highnote.fm as well. Is the
Yeah,
site.
follow us on Instagram.
Yes.
And we want your feedback. Follow us on Instagram.
Right.
Tell us what you like.
Got you. So this is the company
Know
you
what I'm
can
saying?
keep it 100
You can
with.
keep it 100 with us
Keep it a
because
buck.
we're trying
Uh-huh.
to be the best, and you're hearing from somebody whose literal dream it was to start a company, raise millions of dollars, and quit his job to start a startup for musicians because he is one. So like it's really no cap.
Right.
That's,
You heard it here?
That is what it is.
Right,
You know,
right.
that's what we're trying to do.
Right.
And so,
Come on.
you know,
That's
we
the
want y'all's help to try to do that.
right. Say
And
less.
this has
That's
been
it.
That's
the
it.
Courtney Taylor presents the My Audio Nerds
That's
podcast.
crazy.
Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much.
My
Every-
Audio Nerds podcast for audio nerds like yourself. Please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Remember, one lucky person in the comment section going to get that VIP Gold Edition Rosetta EQ or compressor. And also remember, one lucky person. And please leave your @name for Instagram so we can hit you because a lot of y'all don't be putting your @name and I can't find you.
And also, too, make sure that you become a paid member for goodies in the store, goodies on the platform, merch, live mixing sessions, feedback, all that good
Hey,
stuff,
man,
man.
yo, take y'all bad mixes to Highnote, bro. Let somebody be real with you one
Hey
time.
man.
Dang.
He said, "Hey man,
That's
I
why
know
that's why
that.
we made it, yo.
That's why we here.
Fix your mix.
That's it.
this has been the My Audio
Let
Nerds
go of them
podcast.
transfer links, man.
Until next time, y'all."
All right.
Never letting go. We transfer.
I laugh at that. I hate we transfer. That, bro.